Hey guys, it's me, Meteor, and you know that issue I was talking about a long time ago, not a long time ago, but where I thought my video cam software was actually distorting my voice the entire time? Well, I realized the problem. It was the software, but not in the way I expected. It turns out that even though I have the microphone selected, like this one right here, selected, it still records with the webcam mic. But when I set it to the webcam mic, it records with this. How does that work? Alright, here we go, a battle with Fiv3ohh. This is an OU match. He's going to lead off with his Swampert, and I'm going to lead off with my Rotom right off the bat. Now, I figured Stealth Talk's to be way too obvious, so I didn't go for the trick here. I actually switch out and send in my Heavy Lobster, so maybe a switch or something else. But he actually does go straight from the Stealth Rock, so I'm like, crap. I should have gone for trick. Oh well, maybe sometimes the best option is the most obvious move, but whatever. So I'm down about half, and I Swords Dance here, and I'm like, well, I could maybe take one more, and that's pretty much all I would have. So I'm pretty much going to just take another Earthquake here, and then try going for a U-turn, because U-turn will do a pretty good chunk to it at a Swords Dance with a Life Orb, but it'd still kill myself in the process. So, oh well, at least Swampert's down to low health. That's all that matters, right? Right? Whatever. So now I'm going to send in Andross. You'll never defeat Andross! And I'm going to go for the Flare Blazer off the back, expecting a switch, and he does switch into Keldeo, or actually, which is not his Keldeo, it's a Landorus. Oh boy, name another Pokemon a different name of what it actually is. Boy, I haven't seen that like a million times already. Anyway, it does leave me about a third to it, maybe a little bit less than that, because of the Intimidate. I'm going to switch out, obviously, and send in Kill Everyone, my Virizion. I do have the Hidden Power Ice, so I'm not really too afraid of this thing. I'm like, alright. He has the Earthquake, not really doing too much to me. I can pretty much wall this thing to death. I'm just going to go for the Calm Mind here, expecting a switch or something, whatever. Explosion. I didn't even know it could learn that move. Okay, wow. Alright, Explosion, that's fine. It actually manages to kill me despite me being max HP and defense. So that's pretty beast. That is really beast actually. So, alright. I know Explosion is like crippled in this game, but it still managed to kill me. Whatever. I set in my Latias here and go straight for Hidden Power Fire because we both had a blind switch. He didn't know I had a Hidden Power Fire because most Latiases aren't spec'd like mine is. So, Scissor goes down to a surprise kill more than likely. And then he sends in Cresselia, which honestly I don't really have much of a counter for. I have my Golurk, but I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up against that. So I send in my clean kill here, hoping to possibly trick now, so I didn't trick at first. And now he sends in Swampert here to take the trick. So I'm like, well, alright. Or maybe he was just expecting like a Thunderbolt. I'm not sure what he was expecting. But either way, yeah. He's going to go ahead and withdraw now and send in Mikarilo, which is actually his Jellicent. And I did go for the Hydro Pump, and he got the Water Absorb, so whatever. I'm going to go for a Volt Switch now. I know he's probably going to send in Swampert. But if he sends in Swampert, then he's probably just going to switch it again to another Pokemon, knowing I would probably kill it. So now he's going to switch again and send in Munna, even though I pull off the Volt Switch, so that's good. I get a free switch, and I can send in my Golurk right now. Sounds pretty good to me, sounds like a pretty good deal. So I'm going to get out of here, send in like a boss, my Golurk, and go straight for the substitute, and go from there. So I'm just waiting for the leftovers to pass by, you know, all that jazz, whatever. Hurry up, please. And there we go. He pulls out the Toxic. I'm like, alright, well, no big deal. I mean, I don't know why I should have just gone for the Shadow Punch in all honesty, looking back. However, that probably would have not been my best interest, because I'm not sure how much Shadow Punch would actually do, and I have a free sub. So I'm happy about that. Now I'm going to go for Shadow Punch. He actually sends in his Jellicent again, which I can actually destroy with a Shadow Punch. It's going to be a 2-hit KO, easy. I mean, that thing, I don't know why he switched into this. Maybe he was expecting me to go for a Focus Punch, which wouldn't really make much sense on a Psychic type to begin with. But maybe he was wondering if I even carried the Shadow Punch to begin with. He tries going for a Pain Split. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or he just doesn't know how Substitute works. But either way, he messed up and I get a free turn basically. My Substitute's still up. So happy about that. So now he's going to send in his next Pokemon, which is going to be his Donphan, his Heffa. And I'm going to go for Focus Punch here just to break my sub. I possibly should have switched out into my Rotom here instead of leaving it in to take the toxic damage. But, I mean, that's really my own fault for not doing that. I should have just easy descented Rotom, but I didn't. I blame myself for that, like, intensely. But no big deal. I'm just going to send in my Rotom now on this turn after I take the poison damage down to 149. So that means that Crest might even be able to kill me with one hit. Who knows? So then I send my clean kill here again, and he goes for the Ice Shard. I was expecting the Ice Shard too, which is why I didn't send in another Pokemon, like say a Latias or something. But basically, I could wall this thing to death because there's nothing really a Donphan could do to a Rotom. So I'm just going to go straight for the Hydro Pump, see what it's going to do. He sends in Munna again. I'm like, alright, well at least I'll do some damage. I missed the Hydro Pump. I think that's the second time I actually missed that move, but hey, whatever. I mean, no big deal. It's just a game. What can you really do? So I'm going to switch out here now instead of Andross. I'm pretty much just fodder. I mean, I know I'm probably going to die from a Psychic, and this thing can't really help me out too much this match anymore, but I decided to leave it as fodder. But instead you go for Toxic instead of going for Psychic, so I'm like, alright, I guess I get some free damage in, I guess. I don't know. On second thought, I possibly should have gone for the close combat, but instead I actually went for a Flare Blitz. I know he probably wouldn't stay into a Flare Blitz, but in either way, I burned the Donphan. So that's actually good for me in more ways than one. And I know it probably does carry the Ice Shard, so I'm going to go for the Mach Punch here, and I'll do some pretty good damage along with that burn too. So Mach Punch plus Life Orb is going to do pretty good damage, but I get killed off, and that's going to take me down. So now, even with this leftovers and everything, it's not going to quite die from the burn yet. It's going to be a very, very low red, but not quite dead. So now I'm going to send in Clean Kill here. I'm expecting him to just either switch or stay in. I don't know. I decided to go for the Volt Switch in case he did switch. But he stayed in, and he's still going to die from the burn anyway. It's not really too much of a big deal that I didn't be able to hit the Thunderbolt, but whatever. Ice Shard did like some minuscule damage to me. I think leftovers actually did more to me than that. But I mean, I'm not really sure. I didn't calculate out the damage. So then he sends in Crest here, and I'm like, alright. Can't really do too much to this guy, so I'm just going to try going for a Hydro Pump and see what I can do. It does like a quarter. That's not going to be able to take this thing out at all. That's not going to work whatsoever. So I decided I don't really have any other thing I could switch into on a Crest. I really don't want to switch into anything. I could have possibly switched into Golurk expecting like the Toxic, but I'm not sure how much his Psychic would be able to do to me, because I know he does have Psychic because he used it before. At least I'm pretty sure. Wait, did he use it before this turn? I think he did. I forget what he used it on. Oh yeah, he just used it on me now. But basically, I missed the Hydro Pump here. That's like the third miss I have of Hydro Pump. But he has Moonlight anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But I still want to do at least some damage to it before I get killed off here. I decided to go for Hydro Pump one last time here, because I know I was going to go for Psychic this turn, and I miss again. I got like 4 Hydro Pump misses this match, but it's no big deal. I don't think it really would have changed the game too much either way, but at least I'll be able to do some damage with a Shadow Punch or something to it. But no. Instead I have to send my Latias here. I go for the Trick on it now, which locks it into Toy Specs, even though it has Toxic. So I'm like, okay, that was probably a bad move on my part. I should have just sent in Golurk or something, but no, I didn't do that. So now he's going to withdraw now and send in his Swampert, to take that Draco Meteor I'm going to go for and kill it off. So that means his last Pokemon is going to be his Crest, and I have no idea how much a Draco Meteor would do without the specs. And now that he does have specs, which is probably a bad move on my part, he can probably one-shot my Golurk no problem now. If he wasn't able to before, he'd definitely be able to one-shot my Golurk now. There's like no question about that. So I'm going to switch out and send in my Golurk here as fodder, because I know I could pretty much get killed by a Psychic here, as you'll see. Plus I'm locked in the Draco Meteor with the special defense drop, so I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to feint here, and I'm going to send in Lady in Red, and try to go for the Draco Meteor. My only real shot here is to go for a crit on one of these. One of these needs to be a crit for me to win. First one, not a crit, does like maybe a third damage, less than a third actually. That's not going to be able to do anything. I have 2 more shots. I think I have 2 more shots to pull off a crit. At least, that's what I've calculated here. So let's try this. Draco Meteor here. Is that going to be a crit? Nope, no crit. Alright, I have one last shot. I have one last shot to get a crit. Unless I lose. In which case, well, I'm done for. So I'm just going to barely survive from the poison damage and everything. So I have one more turn to use. One last turn. Let's see if Draco Meteor hits this time. It does hit, but it's not a crit. So he's going to be able to finish me off here with a Psychic. I'm going to go down, and of course that's going to be good game. You know, speaking of new microphones, I wonder what I'm going to do with these now.